It's so intense. It's like we're gladiators, and you got to step into the arena, and you got to take some blows. What's crazy is it's like a crucible. You emerge better. But like, you gotta step into the ring. You gotta step into the ring, because what's the point in just going by the sidelines? The future of gravel is just like, it's American road racing now, and it's gonna be on.
The first climb of the day, 2K, 8% average. Come to the top of the pavement climb to jump to the first single track, and it is strung out.
We go up Lamore, I felt really good, was in good position, and then we went up the main climb up Twin Oaks. And up in Twin Oaks is like, you know, everybody's going bananas. No matter how hard I try, it's just like, I'm still getting dropped on the first climb, like, no matter what. The Belgian Waffle Ride is near and dear to my heart. I loved it long before I had the opportunity to win it. There was this excitement about this Spring Classics European hardman road race that was like, brung what you brung. It was all about being tough.
The 2022 Belgian Waffle Ride will be the most challenging course we've ever done. There will be flats, and there will be crashes, and there will be separations, so that people that are normally in a group together, 20, 30 at the onset, that maybe at mile 50 they're still together somewhat, that will not exist.
There's people that hyper focus on one thing. Okay, I'm just a sprinter. I'm just this or that. You don't get to be that. In gravel, you have to do it all.
For me, it was a personal thing. I had a UCI Pro card to race cross, but I liked doing long stuff. And I have a Belgian heritage, so I thought, well, why not put those things together, put some waffles in front, beer at the end, and that's what we're still doing to this day.
BWR really, like, it gave me this confidence that I didn't have when I was racing on the road as a domestique, that like, I can win bike races.
The front group has come together, about 40 riders or so. A couple riders trying to claw their way back on, but it's getting pulled apart already.
Brian always, he's had difficulty on these types of courses when they go straight up hills from the beginning. So the strategy is he has to like keep his powder dry, so to speak. Like, he's not gonna go, he can't go guns blazing with the 20-year-olds because he's gonna blow up. So his is that we're playing the long game.
Hey, all those road years, it makes a big difference, because I know, like, we just get in the group and like, you always keep your momentum, you know what I mean? It's really, really important that you just like assess and keep moving. I love competition. I love racing. Are you a roadie? Are you a gravel guy? Are you a mountain guy? I always find that question interesting, because it's like, I just want to race my bike. Being a roadie, you really have to understand tactics. You have to know about timing, when you place your efforts, how to conserve, how to work with a group, kind of like a team, but you're not really a team, and that maybe that erodes over the race. Mountain, it's full on racing all the time. Like, it's like a time trial, but there's obviously this skill element. And then you have gravel, which is like this blend of both. The yin and the yang of the things that I like about racing bicycles. With gravel, there's such grassroots events. There's this influx of inclusivity and family. I come from a motorcycle background, and so what we would do is, like, when we would get out of school, I'd load up the motorhome and the trailer and everything. My dad would get off work, and I'd be sitting there like, yeah, Dad, let's go. But we'd get to some place and we'd spend all weekend racing motorcycles. And so now that I have my own family and I have my son and my wife, we do it as a family. Cycling and family are like this right now. We are all in on bikes.
Do you ride your bike on the dirt or on the road mostly?
Dirt and road.
Which one do you like more?
Dirt.
Through Cacaboule, sandy flooring, taking the lead through the single track.
It's interesting to see how the leaders have placed themselves. Some of the leaders are as far back as 24 or 25. The next 14 or 15 miles is all dirt, and I suspect at the end of that, things are going to be really stretched out. It's an unroad race. Some people like to lump it in with gravel races because it's 88 kilometers of gravel. To me, gravel racing it's one-dimensional.
I don't think San Diego BWR is a gravel race. It has sectors of dirt. And so each of those are, if you were to think of this like a novel or a story, they're different chapters.
We do single track, gravel roads, anything that's really challenging. Each one is totally different than the other. Each sector offers a chance for someone to advance down the road, leaving people behind.
They keep the route a secret. So the race organizers are always tweaking and changing and finding little extra spots of treachery.
Yeah, every year people try and figure out the course. They tend to follow me on Strava. The one dude actually made a spreadsheet of all my relevant rides and then sent it to me and said, I think this is the course this year. And I was like, nope, you're wrong. And secretly it was pretty close, so I went back and changed it because that was annoying.
Literally, I've had 5 calls today from athletes that I coach wanting to know if I know more about the course. It gets at this fever pitch of like, are you gonna ride a road setup? I mean, that's a lot of road. That's gonna be a big headwind. We need to ride a road setup. And then you're like, I heard this downhill has this huge rain rut. Like, we gotta have bigger tires, but what about that headwind?
And so all of these things create this confluence of consternation. What bike am I gonna ride? What tires? What gearing? What kind of a food strategy do I need? It's those cogitations that make it kind of, that transcend the idea of doing a race.
Group is down to about 20. Pete Stetna is leading Brendan Worth, Lexi Vermeulen in 4th, and maybe another 12 riders behind, including 2 Legion riders, Freddie Ovett and Lance Heidet.
We're doing this unconventional thing. You're riding a bicycle that is not perfect for anything. You have to have a bike that does it all.
I think the ideal bike to race the Belgian Waffle Ride on this year is the one that you're most comfortable on in the dirt.
You want to have the weight be as light as possible, but you don't want to sacrifice strength or durability. Everyone wants to race, everyone wants to win, so what can we do to maximize that?
There's a lot of single track on Belgian Waffle Ride. I like the bike to handle really well, to be fast in those switchbacks, so I went with a cyclocross geometry.
So the plan is we're going to be changing out his cassette 1134 to an XTR 1140, and we're changing out the 5034 to a 4634, and it should be good to go. It works.
As we've transitioned in these races to more and more gravel setups, I have really, really struggled. I've had good equipment, but I've really struggled to get everything right and like bring the whole package together. And today I was like, finally, I got it. Like the Shimano changes we made, the gearing is like.
Right, they're about to enter Black Canyon. We have the chase group here with the young EF rider. This is John Borstelman and Brian McCulloch coming through.
Then there's the Black Canyon sector, the Zwartenberg. We do the first part, which is 3 miles up on washboards, and then a 2-mile descent, which lots of people will crash on.
I'm not the strongest rider there. I never am. There's never a particular place that I am the strongest. If you're racing bikes long enough, you get dropped. In fact, it probably happens almost immediately you get dropped. So everybody's stronger than you. There's always people that are stronger than you. So it's what you do when you have horsepower. It's how you steward that horsepower that's important.
Move on to the road, brother. Move on to the road. Here you go. Good job, buddy. Good job. Stay in the fight. Grab some water right now, brother, if you can. Attaboy. Fuck yeah. Let's fucking get some. We're back in the dirt here in a minute.
Everybody has a lot more in common than they think. And like everybody is gonna have bad moments. When I'm with a competitor, I'm always like, if they have a bad moment, I'm gonna help them. Because Lord knows I'm gonna need the help. We end up in a situation where we're low on water, I'll split the bottle with you. I'm gonna be racing here next year. I'm gonna be racing here in 5 years from today. And because I'm gonna be here, I wanna be a good wheel and I want to be around other good wheels so that when I need some help, someone will help me. We're going down Black Canyon, I was ripping, felt really good. And then you drop into what's called the truck trail, and it's like, immediately you're on like this shaly, skatey rock with rain ruts that are going everywhere. And I was like, I got this. I just told you, I love my bike now. I'm like, this is great. And then literally, I went down this thing and the front end just went shh, like this, and it was going. And it was, all of a sudden, I was down, and then on my back, all I remember seeing is like bike on top of me, and like got up, bars were a little twisted and chain was off, and I was like, keys, nuts, wallet, check. Okay, let's go. But getting the mojo back, getting the momentum back is really, really tough. I try to break things down real small. So first goal, get down the hill. Let's keep the bike together. I don't need to add a tire change to this. I get down the hill and I'm like, okay, I feel kind of rough. I'm gonna get to the next feed zone. I'm gonna beg someone for a gel. It did, I got a couple of gels and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I can get myself back, get it back. Now we're gonna build momentum. Okay, now we're gonna go up this climb, like it's 10 minutes. And then, you know, went into the pain cave plenty and spent a lot of time there. Maybe set up a folding chair.
After that, there's the Palmoberg, which is a 1.3 mile, it's a 2 kilometer climb that's really steep. It hits 14%. That will crush people.
The sport is ruthless sometimes. Life is ruthless sometimes. Suffering is not, it's just so unnatural. It's so unnatural. Like, you should stop. You should probably stop. It hurts.
There's gonna be a lot of times that their inner chipmunk is gonna want them to quit, and they're gonna have these voices saying, just stop here. And you can't listen to those voices, you gotta keep going.
On the road, he was a domestique, okay? So he's a workhorse. So when it gets hot, when everyone else wants to like quit, he's like, I'm gonna go double time and clock in and work harder.
I always tell my athletes, you have to squeeze the lemon. You have to squeeze the lemon till there's no more juice left. That is the only goal of the day.
At about mile 120, Vermeulen's sticking it to House. He's not out of the picture, but he's certainly not on the wheel at this point.
Pretty much the whole time you do the Belgian Waffle Ride, you're thinking about the finish line. When you get to the final climb, the Muur van Dubbelberg, you're kind of like doing the mental gymnastics. Am I gonna make it? You're still thinking that maybe you won't?
There's a guy that I passed after I crashed on the truck trail. I was like, bro, how you doing? He's like, bro, I have one gear. And he's like, I haven't decided if I'm gonna call it a day. And I was like, listen, get to the bottom of this hill safe, be patient, fuel well, don't quit. You can do it.
But when you cross that line, it's the same feeling that I got when I was 12 when I finished my first marathon. It's like, I did it, wow. And get me a beer, which is the thing I said when I was 12.
Before I left to come over to this interview, I watched that guy cross the line and I was like, yes, dude did it. He didn't quit. Like, that's so legit. That's so legit. Having won this race before, I feel pressure, and it's mostly internal, but it's literally not even the same race anymore. Like, when I won it, there was like, you know, there was a lot of good guys. I don't want to take anything away from anybody, but I like to say I'm like a blind squirrel that found an acorn, you know what I mean? I won it a little bit better than 23rd today, but I think that's solid. Some days you're gonna be competitive. You might even win. And then there might be a period of 5 years when you feel like you're not competitive, right? But who cares? Say, oh, hey, it's not perfect anymore. Like, dude, none of this is perfect.
Riding your bike 137 miles. My wife asked me, why do you do that? And I say, I can't help it. It's been a part of my life since I was 12. It's just what I do. It's what I know how to do.
Joy told me she loved me today. We don't do all the PDA stuff that much, you know? Probably my fault, So Joy's always like, is Brian in a good place mentally, or is he gonna cry himself to sleep for a week, right? What's gonna happen, right? And like, she knew that I was in a good place. I'm like, hey, we're riding, I'm doing good. I'm not as high up as I wanna be, but like, I'm in the groove, we're doing this thing, right? And she's like, you're doing great, I love you. And I was like, wow, okay, life's good right now. Bike racing is twofold, because you have to make yourself suffer to stay on the wheel. You have to make the choice. You have to do that to you. I'm gonna be 40 this year. I feel like, man, I've been so lucky in my life. So many people have helped me. I want to give my best. One of my buddies always gives me the business about it. He's like, Brian, you're not a gladiator. Like this is, whatever. But I'm like, no, okay, maybe I'm not, right? But in my head, it's like, the wind's telling you to quit. Your legs tell you to quit, Like the bubbly guts you got tell you to quit, right? And you're like, no, it's not an option.